Well, hi there, guys, and here we go again. We're going to jump straight back into FM17 as usual, and let's take a look and see how things are going. So much for the plans that I had to try to play this game multiple times a day. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and I've noticed that it tends not to work so well if I give myself a lot of other work to do. The tricky part is making some of these long-form videos, some of which are not too hard to make, some of which do take quite a bit of time. Preview of our next match here. We're in 9th place. Ahmed Kutsu, of course, is his name. This is the best player that we have, German-Turkish guy who's 20-something or other years old. How old are you? He's 28 years old. He shouldn't be good enough to play for our team, but he is. He has a little bit of acceleration and pace, which I'm assuming is the reason why he's playing well. He's the most famous player in our club right now because he's got the 9 goals. Football Manager is interesting in that you're going to find some players who don't look like they're good enough to do anything, and they end up scoring a lot of goals, and that's kind of what happens. We won our last match against Königsbrunn. That was a home match. We're against Bad Grönenbach today, so another one of these sort of Schwäbisch clubs, and so we're going to go ahead and just jump straight into this one. And as usual, I'll just go ahead and have the computer give me the recommendation. Hannes Lehmann is suspended again. I'm not sure if I remember the reason why he's suspended. I think he got too many yellow cards or something like that. So anyway, we'll just go forward and see what happens. Søren Oliver Brouwer there is our highest paid player on the entire squad. You know, our squad's it's not like our squad. I just realized I don't have the cursor on here. I'll put that on here for you. Our squad's payment or wages are not really that high. But it all adds up in the end, and we have enough players to make it kind of add up. I probably should have about half the players that we have, but the problem is that people get injured, and I wanted to have a couple of extras. So we'll see what happens. It's possible that we'll end up running out of money, though I think it's much more likely that we'll be able to escape it, and that we'll probably be able to do well enough in the season for something good to happen. And there's Kutsu with the goal. About 10 minutes in, and it's 1-0 for Bobingen, and that puts us up to 7th place. If we can keep this up, if we can get up this high, that would put us in the top half of the table, which is what the board is looking for. And I mean, like I told you, Kutsu is really the man on the squad. So Smayek had great position. Nobody was covering Kutsu, and that's going to be easy. He's going to score that 10 times out of 10. So Kutsu with the goal, and that makes it 1-0 for Bobingen. Now, we do need to play a little bit of defense here. Özkul does a very good job. This team that we're playing against, this is, where are they? They're in 14th place. Brouwer with a shot doesn't quite go in. That was actually one of Brouwer's better shots that we've seen. He's tended to take these shots from further out that he really is not capable of making. Brouwer, by the way, is one of the best players in the entire league at his position, which is the way that we found him. We just went through the Media Dream 11 and sort of stole him that way. Kutsu was way offside. It's ridiculous they didn't call that. He was offside by about a couple miles, and I guess they don't call it here at this level or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. Anyway, we maintained that 1-0 lead. And we'll see how this goes from here on out. We've been dominating possession. We've had the best of the chances so far. They're starting to get fouls, or they're eventually going to start picking up some yellow cards. So this is looking pretty good for us. Just taking a look at the scoreboard, but not much has happened that really impacts us. Again, we really would like the win here. We get a win here, and if we get like a couple more wins off the back of this one, we might actually have the ability to challenge for one of the top 2 positions, which would be amazing considering how bad the beginning of this year was. Smayek is also offside, but nobody cares, and Kutsu just barely misses. I don't know what's going on here. I haven't seen a single offside call go against us, and it really should. So here's a little bit of that beautiful 3D engine. You know what? He wasn't offside because there was a player behind him. I completely forgot about this dude in green down here. Farkas is his name. Farkas, who decided to go take a nap in the back. So Echo, of course, was the big goat of the last match we played 2 days ago. Ends up with Sander, who finds Mikhail. Mikhail, one of the heroes on the squad, to Brouwer, and Kutsu looking to lose his man down there. Flaig to Mikhail. Over to Yilmaz, finds Brouwer, and down to Sander. And Sander has it taken away, takes it away again. and then it ends up going back out to Rausch. I think Sander was trying to move it in. I think that was actually deflected out by one of the defenders, and that was not a very good pass to get it back inside, so that kind of ends that. It was Rausch with the poor pass, and Fuchel with a good save. Fuchel is another one of those players that's one of your media dream 11 players that we kind of stole from whatever club it was that had him. And I forgot to mention this, but as soon as the winter transfer window opens, we're going to get a couple more players in, as if we haven't spent enough money as it is. We're going to get a couple more defenders in. I was so pleased with Eccles' performance that we're going to get a couple more defenders. If we really have problems with the wages, we can always just like get rid of players. I don't know if I'm really going to worry about it right now, though, until it's a real problem. That was a really, really good attempt, and nothing happened of it in the end. And we'll see. I think this is that good save that we just had probably about a minute or so ago. And there it is. Fuchel with an excellent save. That was a great, great way to get rid of the danger. Anyway, so things are probably going to end up going a little bit better at this club as we go on. What we really need, though, is we need to get a win, and we need to get good things happening. And, man, if we could have those first 4 matches of the season back, we would be doing a lot better. Remember, we had to change the tactic because we were playing so poorly. That was it was not exactly the greatest moment in my football manager career. Mikhail over to Sanders. Sometimes the downloaded tactics work, and sometimes they don't work so well. Goes back to Mikhail, over to Sander again. Down to Rausch. Sander finds Brouwer and Smayek, and there it is. And that is his third goal of the season for Amir Smayek. And that makes it 2-0 for Bobingen. And it looks pretty good, at least so far. We haven't even hit halftime yet. But we have to be careful. We had a 2-0 lead in our last game, and it looked like we were going to roll to the finish line, and then it didn't quite happen, and we had a couple more problems than I was anticipating. So you have to be careful, even at this level. You have to be careful. Weird things can do and will happen, and they'll happen even if you think that they're not going to happen. So you got to always watch out and always be careful. And it's Mikhail winning this. He looks over there for Kutsu, and that's going to be a foul. Foul on the Grünenbach player. I was a little bit worried there. Everything sort of froze for a second. I was worried I was going to end up losing another video to some sort of crash, but it didn't happen in the end. So maybe we had some good luck. I don't know. We could really use a couple of goals, by the way. We might get up to 7th position if we could overtake this team in front of us. You know, it'd be nice to get that goal differential turned around a little bit. I don't think we scored anything at all when we were using the strikerless formation, which is supposed to be the formation that was like overpowered in FM17. That was the original idea, was to do a little joke on the FM26 overpowered formation, and it ended up not happening. How did Kutsu get that off? Man, wow. Very, very impressive shot. However, he got that off because he had 2 men all over him. You can see, this is one of the reasons why I like the 2D mode. You can see that they're keying him, and it didn't really do anything that time. So anyway, good job by Kutsu to get a shot off from a situation where it looked like it was impossible. Smayek, of course, probably getting the man of the match, at least so far, but you never know what's going to happen. Sander with it. And he gets it back to the big man, over to Brouwer, and that was an excellent save. Brouwer, though, wins it. Kutsu looking for Smayek and can't find him, and it ends up with Mikhail. We've got a pretty good team. I like these guys. Over to Smayek to Brouwer. And Brouwer with the shot doesn't go in, and that'll be out for a throw. One of the things I'll tell you about Football Manager is that it's a lot more fun if you actually spend the time like playing the games like this. I know that it takes a long time. It's not necessarily the most fun thing in the world to watch unless you're really committed to the save. But there's so many content creators who will end up, auto-playing through huge chunks of their save, if not through like the whole thing. I'm talking about people who will auto-play for years at a time. And the problem is you don't get to know your players that well, right? And it's one thing to autoplay, it's another thing to watch them and to kind of learn who they are and what they're doing. So anyway, it's a little bit selfish, I think, of me to do this and to think this way, but I really prefer going through as many matches as possible myself, even though sometimes it might not make the most engaging material in the world. This doesn't really deserve a replay. There's nothing to see. I think that one of the issues with the FM17 system is you get these replays that are kind of a bunch of nothing. But so it is. There is somebody on the official forums, SI forums, who was trying to take me to town for professing my interest in this game. I honestly, though, think that the vast majority of players of Football Manager would rather play a game like this than the mess that is FM26. But it sort of depends. You do get some people who are really interested in FM26 for whatever reason. I'm likely never going to return to the game after running into constant crashes. I just have no patience for it. Maybe we'll see what FM27 is like, but there are a lot of older FM games that are definitely worth playing again, and there's a lot of adventures to go through. In the end, really, the game engine you're playing doesn't matter as much as sort of the adventure and what you make of it, as Kutsu misses this. For me, at least, that's one of the reasons why the 2D match engine is a lot more interesting, because you can see a lot more of what happens, and it, at least in my opinion, looks a lot more realistic than the 3D engine. It's sort of that picture you get in your head of what the game is like. I strongly prefer this version to any of these more modern 3D setups. Sander with it in the back. He gives up possession very, very easily. So it'll be all the way back to Foucault, who finds Yilmaz. Fortunately, he's able to get to it, avoids the attacking player. Ends up with Mikhail. Mikhail over to Kutsu. Kutsu, good pass to Brouwer. Brouwer doesn't know what to do with it. It's over to Sander, and he takes a shot from the middle of nowhere, and that ends up going nowhere. So it was an idea, I suppose, but it doesn't really work. That's the end of our attacking movement. They have a chance here, but Foucault is able to get over to this one, and he's a great keeper. He's always going to get to that. We're not talking, of course, about great, like, in terms of, actual good player, but great for, the 7th tier. And that's the part that matters. We need somebody who's good enough for this level. We can worry about getting a world-class player when we get to that level. And we will eventually, by the way. I have a lot of faith in this particular save and the way that this is going. This is going a lot better now than I was expecting, just as long as we don't accidentally bankrupt the club. And if we do, then it's going to be an even more interesting save, isn't it? You get to the point eventually where you just have to win, and so, okay, you try to win as much as you can. Rausch, good position, and Kutsu's been fouled. And I think Kutsu is going to end up being the one to take this penalty. Or it might be Brouwer, actually. I don't know who we have taking penalties. But that was a pretty blatant foul. I want to see if it's going to show me a replay to let me see the foul itself. Usually Football Manager doesn't do that. Usually it ends up only showing you the replay of the penalty taken after the foul. So we'll see what happens. Maybe we have that kind of luck. I'm guessing that this is probably a play before. But we'll see. I've kind of forgotten what it is that happened before. This looks like a whole bunch of sort of kicking the ball around at random. Thank you for this replay, Sports Interactive. It was Mikhail with the good tackle, and then it was back to Foucault, who looked forward, and yeah, this is going to be the penalty, so it's Smajic. Don't know why we had all the build-up. Smajic found Rausch, and then Rausch went down here. This is where I thought we were going to score for sure, and Kutsu, and he was fouled from behind. And so, well-deserved yellow card. And it is going to be Kutsu trying the penalty, and he might as well. He has, 10 goals so far this season? See if he gets number 11. And there it is. He just goes straight forward. The keeper moves to the side and lets him get the shot, and that's number 11 on the season. Now, he's not quite up there with the leaders in the league, but I do believe that if we had, and why is, here we go. I do believe that if we had been using this tactic right from the very beginning, Kutsu would have been up there, would be up there right now with the league leaders. And remember, we're only a little bit under halfway through the season. We still have a lot of matches left to play. We're playing very, very well, and if we can start streaking and these guys start playing well together, who knows what's going to happen? And maybe Kutsu ends up doing very, very well in the end. So it's Daum there. Yilmaz misses the tackle. Doesn't matter. He's got a guy behind him to clean up his mess. It ends up with Ahmed Kutsu again. He's looking forward, finds Brouwer. Brouwer's got a man. Is he going to shoot from here? Now he decides to hold it up. He's learning. Sander. And see, he gives it away, but it's okay. This is a little bit scary here. And fortunately, Kusugu, or whoever you say that name, I don't speak Turkish, but this attacking player for... what is this? Baden Grunbuch or whatever the name is, ends up shooting wide of the net by far. And so that's that, and that's probably just about the end of the match. Got maybe a couple minutes left. We'll see if there are any other highlights that come up. This looks like it's really within our reach right now. Brouwer with the takeaway over to Schmeich, over to Rausch, and this is looking really good. We're eating their defenses alive. Saunders should have scored that. It's all right. That was a good attempt on his part. And you can tell as you've been watching, if you've been watching these matches like one by one, you can tell that these players are gaining confidence and they're able to work together more and more. Yeah, maybe somebody like Sonder ends up having kind of a bad game today. It doesn't really matter. All right, we're going to end up winning anyway, and that's going to help a lot with the morale, and that's the full-time whistle. There you go. So we end up winning 3-0. This is exactly what we wanted to do. Everybody looks happy and calm. It's a good win. It's kind of routine by this point. 15 matches in, so we're exactly at the halfway point of the season. We have 6 won, 4 drawn, and 5 lost. Of those 5 lost, 4 were the first 4 games of the season. We have a goal differential of 1, so we need to get that up. And we have 22 points, so we're a little bit away. We have to win a couple more games if we really want to compete with the leaders. But I do think that we likely will be able to get something up here, up near the top. So anyway, this was a good match. It was a good way to play. Not the closest in the world, but it's okay. And I think that we're going to end up doing quite well. I'm very optimistic again about this season, and this project is looking a lot better now than it was looking maybe a couple weeks ago. So I hope you stick around for more, and I'm going to have more coming up really soon. See you later.